everybody, and welcome back to A Catholic's Perspective, the podcast all about being a young Catholic surviving in a secular world. Today, I have a special guest with me. We have Steve Cunningham from Sensus Fidelium. He runs that YouTube channel. And we're going to be covering quite a few topics today, from how to keep your kids Catholic to, how to survive church scandal, especially in today's world, then also the problem of laziness. So welcome, Steve. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I think the
Congrats on your marriage again.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Very exciting. June 8th was the date, which ended up being actually the date of the Immaculate Heart, the Feast of the Immaculate Heart. It was a movable feast day. So that was awesome. But yeah, Steve, I think the last time we had you on was season 2. Season 4, I think. We had you on the last season.
You have to tell me. I don't remember what I did last week. So I remember we did it before.
That's about, honestly, I think it might have just been a live stream. Who knows? But people should
say yes.
You at this point, so it's fine. But I'm really excited for our topics today, and hopefully we can dive into all of them, because I think there's this real issue of laziness in today's world. I see it all the time, where you just walk down a street and everybody's nose is in their phone, or you sit on a bus and nobody is usually reading just a book. They're usually having their earbuds in with their iPods and their iPods. Are those still a thing? Those aren't.
Wherever the other things are.
Yeah, smartphones. Like, everybody just seems to be distracted. Nobody wants to work. First of all, the job market kind of sucks too, so I can't really be like, oh, nobody wants to work. Some people genuinely can't find jobs. But I've just noticed this increase in people not wanting to work, specifically in my generation. And that's just kind of the vibe of America now. Like, nobody really wants to work.
Yeah, in that sense, it's the TikTok job that everyone wants. So everybody wants to be there was a study out a couple months ago that talked about the kids coming out of high school want to be a social influencer. And I remember when that came out, I didn't even know what that phrase meant. I was just, less than a year. But kids are coming out because they got the phones to see what other people are doing. They want to be that. And not just that, they want to be it instantly. Mm-hmm. So, you've been doing this for years. I've been doing this for over a decade. People still write me, how can I get to your... You want to get, I put in 12 years, most of it driving Uber, most of it on trying to find work, doing other things, not having a clue about monetization until the last 5 years. And you want to have this immediate success right off the bat. I remember driving Uber once, and there's this guy picked up, just got out of college, and there's another coworker of his gets in, and he tells her, I expect to make $100,000 my first year. I looked at her in rear view, and she looked at me. You have lost your mind, man. Giddy. I deserve this. I deserve it. People should listen to me because I'm whatever. But you see that. How many people make TikToks and get famous on for just shaking their booty or just cussing or doing something just totally off the rails? Or, like you said, you can't go anywhere without seeing them in the phones. And I just saw a meme earlier about people putting their heads down. There's actually chiropractors talking about people's neck problems because their heads are down like that.
Phone neck.
Yeah. And I go to the gym, and there's people, literally everyone, when I go, there's usually no one there. But the people that they're doing this. Stop tweeting. Get up.
Stop taking influencer photos in the mirror.
It's usually the younger guy. It's the older guys. It's kind of funny. I was joking with myself when you said the young Catholic thing. I'm going, man, I don't feel young. I might be younger than 90. I'm younger branded. That's it. But it's above about 40, 35, 40. And you look at these younger guys, the young pups, they're looking themselves, they're taking the photos, they're doing that, or they're taking 2 hours to do one set because they can't stop texting each other. Mm-hmm. Jocko brings that up in his thing. He goes, where's out 4:45 because no one's up. You don't have to get bothered as a distraction, like you mentioned. But yeah, no, it's the people walking around the thing, they just pop them in. Like,
yep.
It used to be you get up, you brush your teeth, go to the bathroom, shower. Now it's brush your teeth, bathroom, shower. Oh, yeah, put your ears in so that if I get an important phone call or have to talk to somebody, If some idiot like me is walking by, they're talking, "Hey, how are you?" And I go, "Hi." "Oh, you're not talking."
Yeah. It's like awkward. I definitely think social media has kind of contributed to this generation of entitlement, where people, like you said, are gimme, gimme, and I want this and I'm entitled to that and I'm going to do this. It's one thing to have goals and be like, oh, I'd love to make this much by this amount of time. But like you said, people these days expect certain things to be just given to them. Why do you think that is?
Because you're lazy. We want everything. It's the pop a pill philosophy. You got a headache, pop a pill. You got this, pop a pill. You want to lose weight, pop a pill. You don't feel depressed. You feel depressed, pop a pill. There's a pill for. I'm not going to say the one, blanket all because there's that meme.
Yeah.
Take that. Do everything for you. Um, Goes in work. People like. I love using sports. Yeah, because I played it. If you people want to, I want to make the team. All right. Do you want to put the time and effort to get it? Just make it. It's all right, go practice. They don't do it. Well, you don't want it. But I want to be on just because I want the uniform, or I want that because I want, people to see me. It's, take photos of me doing X, Y, Z. And, the guys that I wanted on the team were, I did it. I didn't tell anybody when we were running hills or running stairs in the gym. The lights were off. You stuck in. Nowadays, probably the same person will be like, hey, watch me when I do it.
Yeah.
Put it on TikTok. It defeats the purpose. It's like, you don't want anybody to know what you're doing. I remember when I was coming, because was it Twitter or Facebook? Twitter wasn't allowed for, I can't, one of the two was not allowed for outside schools, colleges.
Okay.
This is how long it shows my age. When this started, it was MySpace days. If you remember that.
Oh yeah, probably Facebook then.
Probably, okay. That you weren't allowed, unless you had a college email, you couldn't get on it. I remember a guy on a buddy of mine told me, he was like, hey, get on, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't do what he was doing. And he apparently was, you're supposed to take photos of what you ate. And then,
Oh yeah, the trend.
and I didn't know, dude, and he would literally text me up, stop, you're not supposed to give your thoughts. You're supposed to, this is for, what you're doing or what if you're, eating or something like that. So I was like, oh, I'll be vulgar. That's before I came back into the church. So, no, you're not supposed to do that. I go, tell me when I'm supposed to do that.
Yeah.
But then, people come up with the big thing on now is putting themselves with bikinis up.
Yep.
You want to go to the next door neighbor and knock on their door and say, hello, and they come back, but you put your photo up for thousands, millions, and it's up there forever. You could delete it, but there's a way to grab anything off online, which people are saying, young people are saying that it's backfired them in interviews and job hunts. And like, hey, you tweeted this 5 years ago. It's anything that said will be used against you in court of public opinion.
True. And I especially think nowadays there's this disconnect between community and social media. Because like you said, you wouldn't go into a bikini up to your neighbor and be like, hey, how do I look? Or you would say the caption to your neighbor. And yet we're doing that to complete strangers online. And we don't even bat an eye when we get called, derogatory names or this or that. And I don't condone posting bikini pictures, of course. But at the same time, it's like, we've really lost this connection, and I feel like social media has dehumanized us so much that we can't even view ourselves as almost human. We just kind of view ourselves as content. And if we portray ourselves the way that people want us to online, that's going to make us money and that's going to get us stuff. And I think about the influencers who have complained about being influencers, and I'm like, look, is this kind of like tedious? Sure. There is a lot of work that goes into being an influencer, well, not influencer, but, like content creation, stuff like that. Like there is a lot of work that goes into it, but I'm not about to compare myself to a doctor who does, night shifts, or a restaurant owner, or somebody who genuinely has to show up on the job 24/7, can't make their own schedule. And they have to go through very difficult times because they can't make ends meet. Now, do I get paid for the ministry? No. But at the same time, it's like, it's rewarding in the way that I know that people are being helped through it. And that's like enough for me. But my main thing is that these influencers who complain about doing literally the bare minimum and having millions of followers, millions of people who are like, oh my gosh, I love you. Like, how can I look like you? Kardashians are a great example of that. And then they turn around, they're like, you have no idea what it's like to be an influencer and what I have to go through every day. I wake up at 9 a.m. and put on a full face of makeup. And then for the next 3 hours, I content farm in my basement. And and that's supposed to be like difficult. We're supposed to sympathize with them, but they act like it's just such a drag. Like, and I'm like, you chose this. You could go get a job at Target. You chose, like, you know what I mean?
That's the easy thing. It's hey, look at me. If you're doing it like you said before, what's your goal? Like your goals are to help change minds, bring ideas to other people. Is for example, during Rona times, people said I came out from behind the curtain. I was like, yeah, because no one was saying what I was thinking and saying. I was like, all right, let me see. This is going to sound crazy to people. Even the centralization stuff I keep bringing, I'm going up. Nobody talks this way. And I'm definitely not doing it to get likes or anything like that, because stuff like that, you're not gonna get the invites to Mar-a-Lago or things like that. If you challenge people in that sense, and you're doing it for the right ways, you're not gonna get the trophy. Hey, this guy, I love this guy. You usually get the haters. They joked with you a long time ago about that. We used to have it in college, and haterade. We're in Sports Center. He's haterade. A lot of haters drink it. It's easy to right back.
So easy.
Yep, you're in Illinois. I'm in Carolina, so I can put the keyboard, fight her. I manly. Let me tell you how you do this.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of face-to-face interaction, where most people that type anything or say anything would never say that.
Yeah.
Not even just in front of them, but from the car to them. I mean,
yeah.
Like you said, the dehumanization part, which goes into kind of like a globalization mindset, where you have to go decentralized, like everything decentralized. We don't know our neighbor. Well, we have a better relationship with somebody in Australia, maybe because they're a fan or whatever, and they chatted. But we never talk to our guy next door or across the street, and we can't build that local community. Or maybe people in our parish might not like it, but then a parish in California loves us. Things like that.
Mm.
They don't know. They don't. They only see is you from what you typed or what your photo is or a video or something. They don't know the real you in a sense. I mean, it's something that's both parties. And that's everybody. But the downside to that, good positives, the reach.
Yeah.
It's tremendous. The idea to get people that never would have heard this stuff long ago or anything. It's like, hey, if you take them around St. John, Kansas, those people, I would be like, because I'm never going to be in Chicago. Probably sure there's not a chance in God's great earth I'm not flying because of all the facial recs going on, and then the visual ID coming on. But
Yep.
this is not enough time. I just can't get in with kids and wife and just say, hey, let's go to Chicago or wherever. But if someone does it, hey, let's go through a tour video and show it around. Hey, that works for me. That's cool. That's interesting. Sad I'm not going to be able to see like invite. Let's go to Jerusalem. Cool. No time. Your state of life versus let's go make a video. Hey, kids, sorry, you're going to have to start. You're going to be without that in 2 weeks because I got to go have bye.
Priorities.
And a lot of that in the video, people doing that, it's where's your priority list? Is it about, there was a guy that made a video about against you. His kid's crying in the other room.
Yeah.
And someone said it to me. I just saw like the first minute. The kid, he's literally talking about this kid crying in the other room. Well, you keep talking to my mic for an hour and a half about this girl. That's just matter. Again, the dehumanization, manliness, it's all gone in a lot of this.
I think also priorities are so they're so mixed up now because God is not the top priority. So obviously all the others are going to kind of fall apart. And yeah, the haters are one thing, and it's really interesting to see how people have the guts to say something, but then this has happened to me on multiple occasions. I knew of 3 people who were speaking very poorly about me on social media, and they were spreading all this stuff, calling me horrible names. I actually met them in person, And I didn't go up to them. They came up to me and they were like, "Hey," and I was just like, "Oh, hi," and I was like, "Nice to meet you." Hi. And they were like, "Can we get a photo with you?" And I was like, "So you're gonna drag me through the mud on Twitter, but then you actually meet me, have a conversation with me, realize I'm a real human being, and then you're gonna be like, oh, actually, I'm kind of a fan now." And
Clicks.
it's so weird. It's so odd. And when I see stuff like that, like the video you're talking about and stuff, it doesn't bother me. It just makes me kind of feel bad for them. I mean, they should know better. I mean, they're a grown man. He has a child. Like there should be better
Cool.
things.
It's free marketing for you.
Oh, basically, yeah. It's really funny though. And it's just interesting to me because I'm just like, yeah, that's kind of disordered in that way that you would be so upset about a stranger on the internet. But
Don't ever watch this, but Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. They, at the end of it, they get all the bad reviews printed out, and they go to each person's home and beat it. And they're usually like an 8-year-old kid that typed those. Did you say this? And then they beat the kid up. I've never watched this. It's back a long time ago.
oh my
Different
gosh, I've
person.
never seen it, but we should maybe bring that back. Just a thought. And, I think that's another thing we're talking about is because social media is impacting the kids. And I forget who said it. Somebody said that basically there were a few ways that Satan tries to get a hold of your kids. I think it might have been Gabriel from Gabby After Hours. And the one of the ones that I remember him saying was that he tries to get to your kids through bad books. But obviously kids don't really read anymore, but social media is something. So through bad friends, bad books, bad media in general. And it made me think, I'm like, well, if you're a parent, you're handing your kid a smartphone or any smart device without restrictions. But then let's be honest, you put restrictions on it, the kid's going to know how to bypass them. Kids are very smart. They're not stupid. And they're going to pretend like they haven't gone past your restrictions and they know how to undo everything they've done and they know how to, unload or what is it? Delete the apps off of the phone before you could. The point is, kids are very tricky. My thing, though, is especially seeing all the anti-Catholic just content online, whether it's from Protestants or from, anti-Catholics in general, whether that's agnostic or whatever they fall into. On top of that, pornography and like so many other bad things in the world, a lot of parents might be like, oh, well, my kid, I've protected my kid and they don't know about any of that. And now they're like 12. And I'm like, okay, so they're now 12 years old. There's changes happening. They're going to be going to college and high school where they're going to learn about all this stuff. And because you haven't taught them about it, now the world's going to teach them about it.
There was we were at the local deacon's house this past Friday, and we talked for like 4 hours, and he told me about this quote. He goes, "Heck, let me see that. Can you find that for me?" He goes, "Yeah, it's one of these books over here." Anyway, screenshot it. The quote was, "Be wary of the distraction that the fake and seductive world of social media projects on your screens. It enslaves the mind, and for every moment that you allow yourself to be distracted and ensnared by it, you will need a month to free yourself."
Wow.
And then you go in, like we just talking about the kids with. I remember when I was training back in the mid 2000s, I saw kids 8, 9 years old. They already had the devices in their hands, and parents would just get it. It's kind of like a shut up babysitter in a sense. You go eat out. Normally, you'll see a family. They're all even on dates. Both persons are on there texting, tweeting. They can't put the darn thing down. It's locked in they're addicted to this stuff. Yep. There's a practice I remember one priest talked about. Said when you hear it, put it on silent, and you hear it go off, force yourself not to to do it. It's kind of like that Pavlov's dog theory with the whistle. You hear the beep, everyone looks right at the beep. You can watch somebody, and you'll see it clearly. It goes off. They immediately grab it. No matter if it's a room full of 10 people, one person, deep conversation. Very, very, hold on, let me check. Wait, just forget you. I'm going, this is more important. And it looks like you and say, well, you're not that important. I got to check this. I think Peterson mentioned that, one time before us. But yeah, again, dehumanization. We'd rather talk to this thing then look at someone in the eyes and have a good conversation, or just enjoy someone else's company, friendly, non-friendly, whatever. Just go to a ball game and just enjoy the game, or walk in the park. No, we got to walk in the park and then with this, or you see, something happening like the Olympics, and everyone's filming it. And then now you're living behind this little box instead of watching everything, bringing it in, not let your memory just keep the hold of it. Now you're going to film it. Hey, I got it on film. I'm never going to watch it again, but it's there.
It's like, what's the point? Honestly, and I've set this rule for myself recently where it's like, I need to do things and not post it on social media. I was always really good about that with like prayer and making sure that I kept a lot of my prayer life off social media, except for sharing certain things. Because again, your relationship with God has to come first as a content creator. Otherwise, it all becomes disordered. So that was pretty good. But then whenever I would go and do anything, I felt the pressure of having to create content while doing it, because I'm like, when's the next time I'm going to be in this area? When's the next time I'm going to be out and getting cute coffee? And when's the next time I'm going to, and so I'm like, the opportunity to like, and I have to stop myself because I'm like, no, I allow myself one photo, if any, and it has to be good. It has to be specific. It has to be intentional. And do I want to waste that one photo on a photo of my coffee, or do I want to take that photo with my friends? Or do I, and so it's like I have to set those rules for myself. But when I go out with other people, depending on if I know them really well or not, usually if I know them really well and we genuinely enjoy each other's company, none of us are on our phones. But if I don't know them very well, it's a bigger group or something, everybody's on their phone and I'm there just like, hey guys, somebody look at me.
They have all these studies out that come out saying that husband and wives, usually the last thing they do, they're on their smartphones, or there's no talk time. It's just living through the thing. There brought up the Olympic thing. There was actually a commercial because it's the pentathlon was going on, and she had some reason they put some girl with her the video. Yeah. And the gist of it was she was trying to run, and she was, what do you think about me running? And the athlete goes, just put the phone down. Well, how would anybody not, see me do it? Who cares? Just put the phone down.
That's the thing. I feel like we've stopped living for ourselves and God and started living for others. And that's really what kind of continues this empty feeling we have, because we can't please everybody. But if we please God and we can please ourselves and just do things for ourselves without the recognition or even the acknowledgement of others, I feel like we become a lot more whole.
On Sundays, I make it a point not to touch this thing. Usually don't go in, don't turn the computer on. Like, I'm up late Saturday to get things up, like schedule. If you see videos pop up on the Twitter feeds or Facebook, you schedule it out. So, and then cut it off, done. And it's fantastic. I mean, I don't even think about it. Just because the day is busy. And it's like you said, it's all, you keep your mind focused. Well, you got kids, things like that. If you're busy, then you don't get, the works with our hands, as they say. And you help, I guess I'm bored. Let me pull that thing out and let me scroll for an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Let me yell at somebody, go to 4 hours. Yeah. Oh, there's a crick in my neck. Oh, yeah, I heard it was a good day. Somebody posted it. Let me see if there's a photo of the day.
I think it's so different to nowadays how social media has become like that career. And so I'm glad that they came out with scheduling stuff, because like you said, like I'm married now. I have other responsibilities outside of my social media. And that means the ministry has to change a little bit to fit into my vocation, because before my ministry was like not my vocation, but something I was called to. And while I was working towards marriage, I wasn't there yet. So I had a lot more time to spend on the ministry. And now that I am married, I'm like, okay, I have to divide my time up between cooking, cleaning, ministry, gardening, because that's something I really do enjoy, investing my hobbies, so I have something to look forward to, while also still ministering to the people that are in need through email, posts, DMs, and stuff. And I think it's interesting how it's so easy for me to be like, okay, I'm going to schedule a post. And then 30 minutes later, I'm scrolling on TikTok I don't have TikTok anymore. Reels. And I'm like, how did I get here? why am I scrolling? Like, I had one thing to do and I did it, but now why did I just forget to put my phone down? It's crazy how we get hypnotized by our phones.
Yeah, you brought up gardening. All I could think of was, yeah, last night I was shooting my wife. What are you up so late? I had to get some videos up, and then I watched a couple videos on how to grow lamb ear.
Okay. Hey. Hey, man.
Like, what? I go, yeah, lamb ear. It's a weed. Well, it's, everything's a weed. So I started a gardening channel because I got in the gardening big time. And I got a dark forest in the back, and which I can't wait to get my own place. Like, she goes, you're so different. What happened? And they're like, yeah, 4 years ago. I'm like, this is nuts. Now I'm going,
I love gardening. And honestly, when it comes down to it, like, weeds are the best because most of them are medicinal. So,
oh, yeah, no, I know. They got Justin Carroll. He turned me on to herbalism, and I've
yep.
gone big time into that. And yeah, we took the kids to a park the other day, and I go, hey, again, look, all the parents at the kids are playing. They're all there. Hey, look at that. You go touch the melanin over there. What? They go, just touch the leaves. They call it cowboy toilet paper. Go touch it. It's so soft, and it's really good. You can use it for that, but it's also good for coughs.
Huh.
But in the Bentley of we'll get off topic real quick because I started the channel because all these guys did like tomatoes.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, they do a little bit others, but yeah, this section just doing tomatoes, cucumbers, potatoes, and then this group just does the herbs.
Right.
I really try to combine the two, and then try to put a little Catholic twist in the side. So I know though I'm not going to get 100,000 views on it. I got a couple hundred, which it's still
That's
cool.
good.
And try to bring in, hey, what the background of this is. I get more of a kick watching these gardening channels from England,
Yeah.
than I do any Catholic channel out here. And people ask, hey, what channels you watch? None. What I
You should plug it. You should plug the channel. What's it called?
Oh, where the heart is, where the heart
Where
grows.
the heart is?
Yeah, the heart grows. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
This
awesome.
young family in England, they got a book about that thick with photos. They're trying to do it with their kids. He gets on the ground on a dandelion. They go, look at this dandelion. It's a beautiful dandelion. It's the color. He gets into it. He gets you watch like, I am excited about dandelions because of this guy.
I love it. Honestly, too, we don't realize how many plants are named after Our Lady or how many of those names came from Catholicism, like rosemary and roses in general and lilies. And it's just crazy to me how much Catholic lore is in like all of our stuff.
Hey, there's the red clover. There's a legend that says that it was when Eve got kicked out of Eden that she grabbed this one particular flower, and it was the rose. It was the red clover, and that's the clover for women. It's the one that helps with the women with all kinds of issues regarding womanhood.
Yeah. I literally drink red clover tea because, and it's just so cool how Catholicism is literally in everything. And it's so sad that society has just kind of washed it out and made it empty.
Goes back to your lazy thing. Is we're not lazy. We see something, we kill it with cancerous causing material, and then we complain when we get cancer. When you just
Yeah.
And then do we not enough to? We might not be able in the area to grow your own thing, but that goes lazy. Get up and do it. Complain about GMO food. All right, grow your own food. I mean, I got strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries.
I love raspberries.
9 different mints, 7 different basils. Do what?
Send me some seeds.
Well, mints, you can just. I got literally a Thai basil sitting in a little glass jar because you can cut some of it, depending on it is wood in or not, and the roots will grow in. So I actually made a holy basil one, cut the roots off, put it up, then it got the roots. It's now yay big after a week.
Wow, that's amazing. I did that with my rosemary. I propagated.
Yep.
Yeah, I propagated it, and now it's like huge, and I'm just like, huh.
Yeah, people come over and we'll sell stuff. That we got too much things that we're selling. They'll come over and they'll look outside and go, wow, that's great. I go, it's all edible.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
Having your edible garden is so important, especially I think for kids. To just go out, be able to pick your own snack. When I was a kid, we had an edible garden, whether it was, shepherd's balm or certain, weeds, quote unquote, dandelions. I ate dandelions like crazy as a kid. I had a great liver. On top of that, like, strawberries and blueberries and raspberries and apple trees and, just all these things that kids now kind of like, if you walk past an apple tree on the side of the street, you're like, ugh. But if you see an apple in the grocery store that's been sprayed with pesticides, you're like, it's so
Yeah.
crazy how
Yeah.
it's completely changed. Like the girls I used to babysit back when I was like a teenager, one of them got a bee sting. And so I chewed up some plantain and I put it on the bee sting. And she was like, what? Like, you could do that? And I was like, well, always ask me or your mom first before putting a plant in your mouth. But like, yeah, there are certain plants and God created it that way. God knows, all of these herbs and things were brought from Europe or wherever to help with the ailments that they were struggling with coming to the New World, or the ones that they had originally, whether that was like the Black Plague or measles or typhoid fever. Like there were so many different remedies. And of course, modern medicine, of course, now is like kind of uh, helps a lot more in big cases of like, you know, killer diseases. But I mean, the main thing is not to get sick in the first place. And how do you do that? By building up your immunity and taking all these herbs and, really taking care of your body.
I was telling my wife, you know the mimosa tree, right? She goes, yeah, it's everywhere. That's what this world. She goes, no way. Hey, I told a couple of people here, they really? It takes away anxiety and makes you get in the mood to go out and do more things. There's magnolia trees. You can eat the flower. I got to get with Judson. You get a kick
Yes.
out talking to him.
I would love to, because we have a magnolia tree in our backyard and my dad got it for my mom for Mother's Day like 10 years ago. And I just started eating the flowers and my dad was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I want energy." I can't
No,
explain.
watermelon seeds isn't good for you. Watermelon seeds is great for men fertility. It also helps with cardiovascular problems, heart diseases, all kinds of stuff, cleaning out your colon, all that. And
Yeah.
that they tell you not to eat that. And again, anything they say not to eat, probably something you probably should eat.
Exactly. And I think a lot of fruits, the seeds do have a lot of potential if you eat them with the fruit, because it's like that's the whole, God put the seeds in the fruit for a reason.
Well, the book that Judson ended up getting translated was an Austrian priest, and he kind of makes a flippant mark in the book. Says it's like this God decided to put all this stuff around here for us to help us, from arms to clover to dandelion to Saint Benedict herb. There's a Saint Benedict herb. Apparently, it was blessed by Benedict, is the legend, and there's a lot of cures with that. Yeah, I got the seeds. I haven't got it grow yet, but I got the seeds.
Send me
Yeah, I'm going
photos.
through this book going, I got to order this. I got to order this. Did you ever
Yeah.
heard of this? But again, it goes back to the lazy thing. We'd rather read about how bad the Pope is
Mm-hmm.
15 times a day. We're complaining about this, that, but let's work on how to pray better. Hey, Father Ripker told you to get 2 books on grace. Nah. I'm not gonna let me get the books that are talking about the drama, the sexy stuff. That's cool. That's fun. That's more enticing. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want the growing holiness stuff. It's too hard. It's give me the stuff that gets my emotions going. And that's should we learn about growing peas or no. I'd rather it's easier to type and talk about how bad it is than do any solutions based idea.
It's always interesting to me too, because I always think about, what if the internet were to just go poof one day and nobody had
It would
access?
increase society
Mhm.
exponentially.
Yes, basically. I'm like, how much more productive would we be as a society, as humans? And I have to force myself. I physically have to like turn off my computer, leave my phone inside while gardening. Because, like I said, I have this inclination to want to film or record or do whatever to show people what I'm doing so that they can see. And it's one thing if you're trying to educate, of course, but for me, it's like gardening's supposed to be a hobby for me. It's something that I'm supposed to learn and enjoy. And I'm not the best at it yet, because it's something that, again, I'm still pretty, despite growing up in a household where we did garden a whole lot, it's something that I've kind of had to figure out on my own. And that's just how it is. But my thing is that I have to make the time, and I can only do that if I cut out the negative things in my life. And it has been such a blessing, because I'm like, instead of scrolling through comments for an hour, I can be gardening for an hour. Instead of having to respond to people like who are negative and da 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 da, like, yeah, instead of scrolling through anti-pope propaganda and all this other stuff, I am growing real food and learning in the process and expanding my mind in that way.
No, 100%. Yeah. No, when I'm out there, don't think about it. And then I come back and going, I forgot to video that for the gardening channel because it's just not in my mindset to do things. I'll get here
Yeah.
and I'll make a video or we'll do the news show, news from the pew or something like that. But out there, it just doesn't click. It's kind of like when you see everyone when there's a something going on like a wreck or a fight or something. Everyone's first reaction is to pull out a cell phone. But that's not how I'm wired. It's you go do you either do something about it or not. You don't sit back and just watch. So yeah, I remember doing it just the other day. I go, man, I should have videoed before I pruned the blackberries to show how height they were before and why I just did that. Whoops. Oh, well, I guess that's out of the wall. So try to do something else next time. Check that one off, scratch that, back to the drawing board.
It's so difficult too, especially if it's something you genuinely enjoy. And I think especially for men, like they need that hard labor as like a distraction. And it's difficult at first. It's almost like working out. Like you don't want to do it originally, but then the more you do it, the more you get into it, the more you're like spend more hours out there. And then before you know it, it's like dinner time and you're like, wow. It's just
All right,
great.
I've been out there a couple of times, 2 hours. I got to end up having to get a hat because I've been out there in the middle of the day and come back red. And going, I was fast playing in the strawberries. I just got 2 hours later, went by in 30 minutes.
Just got carried
Yeah,
away.
it's a thing, just go around and check out what everything, because you have to talk about lazy. You got to make sure that check out the pests, make sure the water's right. Check out this. Any leaves getting blight on it. What is blight? Why is that blight? What kind of insect is that? What the heck is that? What do you and then is this almost ready? How do I know when to pull this? How's that ready? How do I know when the potatoes are ready? And you just all of that. Yeah.
I
Oh,
really
don't forget that we actually have that to cook with.
Yeah. And I really do think that a remedy for laziness is causing, like, making your brain work, because that's one of the where you just mindlessly want to scroll and do all these things to kind of zone out or disconnect from reality for a while. But in reality, that doesn't actually help us. That just kind of makes us more stimulated. And I feel like to ask those questions to get the right type of stimulation is actually more calming than to do all this other stimulation.
You brought up like one of the things you said was scandals. They're like, okay, well, we can look at. I'm scandalized. I'm supposed to be scandalized because this went on. Like, we use something that just happened the other day, the shoe pitch thing in Chicago.
Yep.
I told one night ago, what'd you expect him to start quoting Thomas Aquinas? I mean,
Yeah.
it's like where you're in Chicago, Levy Smith when they played the Bears. It's the Vikings played the Bears. They lost. That is great. They are who they thought we were. No, it was Arizona. And we let him off the hook. He is what you think he is.
Yeah.
Where there's some article about Francis comes up. Okay, I mean, 100 years ago, before the internet, you never know what went on. Now, every sneeze, we have to critique him. We're not going to say anything good about anything good he might say. If he does, yeah, sure he does. But no, everything bad, we got to blog about it, talk about it, tweet about it, mention about it, make a video about it, maybe 2 or 3 times, a couple shorts, and then we'll talk about it till we're blue in the face. Yeah. Or with the Olympics. Oh, I'm so scared. We're boycotting the Olympics. Everyone I saw that said that talked about it more than I did. And I was watching the Olympics. Because I'm a sports guy. My wife goes, you never watched the opening ceremony? I go, no. I put a gun to my head. I couldn't tell you any opening ceremony of any Olympic in the history of my life, nor closing. Never watched it. The games went on. You watched it. The games were done. We're done. It was ball only. And she turned on the closing ceremony. It was 2 minutes in. I'm going, are you wanting to torture me? And it was when Tom Cruise was coming out of an airplane or something. I didn't even know all half the stuff that went on. But yeah, we just focus on all that. Just don't worry about it. All right. Okay. What's next? And then, the DNC's convention's going on. You get all these guys. What do you expect?
Yeah.
They're going to talk about the RNC. You think the DNC's going to say, hey, we love Trump?
No.
What do you think they're doing over there? It's a cheerleading with the RNC. It's a cheerleading with the DNC. What do you expect? It's a cheerleading thing for their base. Forget about it. Yeah. But it goes into we need to centralize everything. We need this to trigger us. We need one guy is to, he's our savior. And hey,
Yeah.
it's nothing's going to change next year, the next, it's actually going to be worse, probably.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the times certain people we know, like to latch on to negativity. There are so many people out there who know that the negativity brings in likes and views, and I see it constantly in content creators. It doesn't matter who they are. I mean, I'm probably guilty of this as well, so I can't be too hypocritical here, but at the same time, like, I think a lot of the times people notice that negativity sells.
Huh?
It's kind of like the same way that sex sells. It's
100%.
it's this one thing that just like really we have to know. Like, we need to know, what did Pope Francis say? What did the cardinal do? Like, why is a Catholic cardinal here? Blah, 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 blah. And I think especially in a day of confusion in the church and just not really sure, knowing like church politics and not knowing where we stand and feeling so divided. And, there's a lot going on. But my thing is like, you know that the church is the one true church of Christ. We know that, people can be wrong. We know that people can make mistakes, terrible mistakes. We've had horrible, horrible popes before. I wouldn't say Francis is that bad compared to the ones we've had previously. We had that whole issue with the two popes and then that other pope that had a kid. There was like a lot going on. But the thing is that we didn't have social media back then. So the people who knew about it were probably really just the people in Rome. And unless word got to them somehow through a letter or something.
A couple years later.
Yeah, a couple of years later, because back then they didn't even have the Pony Express back then. They had ships and that was it. So for me, I'm just like, you kind of just have to act like that, and you have to just, cut off the news source, because they know that negativity sells. And if negativity sells, you're going to be riled up, you're going to lose your peace, they're going to get more comments, they're going to get more interaction, and people think all interaction is good interaction because they think that even if it's negative, oh, well, I'm still getting views and I'm still getting stuff sent,
Yeah, well, the news leads it leads. They don't. There's a reason why the news, the evening news, doesn't lead off with a kitty that just got saved from a tree.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Nope.
About 200 people just got blown up by a missile. Let's talk about it. Watch. Or
and then somehow it's turned into like a political and agenda of some kind.
They gotta have ratings. Just ratings. Same thing for them. After September 11th, no matter which side someone falls on or what happened. What happened afterwards? Glued to your TV. Fear, 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 fear. Watch us. We'll keep you. Okay. Last 4 years ago, Rona. Watch us. We're gonna tell you what people are not. They're not actually doing it outside reality, but we're gonna tell you to trust us, believe us,
Exactly.
and just be afraid. And we're gonna tell you how to think. It's a mind programming thing. Fear, endorphins. People want to be afraid sometimes. People like that juice. And then to tell other people, gossip, hear what happened. Be the first one to break the news. You see that on social media, even if it's wrong.
Yeah.
We got rumors. Rumor coming out. TLM's going to be over. Yeah, people were asking me, yeah, call me when it happens. Be doing that. I got some cucumbers. And it's like the movie Major League. You want to coach the Indians? Well, I got this gun on the other line on white walls. I'll get back to you later.
Yeah.
Nothing happens with it.
No, and
but the ones that are doing happening, like that there's what I need coming through, or facial rec at all the airports. No one cares.
Yeah.
It's their priorities are all out of whack. But it goes into, we want to do that. But we are so down to that if we say some things, then the guys who like us, that keep us up, we're not going to be the cool kids on the block anymore. So we gotta stay on this side. We're not going to get too nutty on it.
And it eventually just becomes like this never-ending cycle of just fear. And the fact that the media has been able to lie to us for so long and people are still willing to believe what they say, even though they have been proven wrong. Like, masks didn't work. That was proven. Like, all of these things, we see issues about the vaccine and just in general, vaccines in general, like having heavy metals in them. Like, all of this information is coming out. They talk about how tampons are causing cancer in women. They talk about how your food and seed oils are actually probably the reason you're obese. And yet nobody actually cares. And they still go out and they still get McDonald's. And they still go out and they buy the titanium dioxide tampons. And, they still do those things because even though some women are awake to the fact that these things do impact them, the news media is still kind of like, it's probably fine in moderation. So they're like, well, if it's in moderation, then I'm like, yeah, poison's fine in moderation, but does that mean you would still take it? Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, you look at how many influencers talk about, hey, we just need to do this to fix everything. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, sure. Turning your profile to a black square is going to solve things.
But that too, you got what's the end thing? But or one vote is going to change it all. You just vote for the right. And it goes back to what your husband asked about your husband asking me about what do you mean by all the stuff you post? Not that he didn't call me a nut or anything like that, but he's the only one so far to ask, explain what you're talking about. Give me some things on that, which is great because it's what we're supposed to
really
do.
excited.
Yeah, but no, let's solutions based thing instead of fear. Hey, this is going down the hell in the handbasket. Yes, we all know that. What do we keep doing? Well, let's just keep doing what we're doing. Well, that didn't work. Let's keep let's not change anything. What we need more is more of what's going on. Wait, what if we get smaller? Is it smaller beautiful? I kind of thought there was a book on that thing. Because I thought we'd like that. No, we don't like that for this, but we just like that for this. We don't really want anything to improve because it goes back into social influencers. If we did decentralize what we're supposed to, and not just here, everywhere. I just found out Italy the north in Italy went after the south in Italy. All the republics there, it centralized the one nation in the 1860s. There was something else that happened in the 1860s that happened with centralization, and the north went after the south or something like that. It's really bad now. I digress. But not just that, but we go into those big names, the Fox News, it's the Michael Knowles, the Daily Caller, and all those guys, the Daily Wire. Those guys don't exist if solutions like decentralization happen. Because why? I saw somebody on there talk about some Minnesota lieutenant governor was a wackadoo. I go, that's a Minnesota.
A lot of them.
I don't have to live with that. Minnesota people, what are you doing? Get off your keisters, stop being lazy, yeah, and get you yourself run or get in or find somebody better. But if you have a problem like that lieutenant or the governor, break away, let Minneapolis, St. Paul go their way, and you go another way, or you find a way to get good people away. I don't. Those are the thing. I don't like this guy. I don't like this girl. I'm not for either.
Yeah.
Can we go away and just think locally and act locally, like you said, guarded? That's that. That's localism. There's a problem. I recognize it. We'll do something about it. I'm not going to force. I'm not going to force it. I'll educate you, but I'm not going to put a gun in your head saying you must grow strawberries. That'd be cool that you do, but it's that little mindset. We got to force someone else to do. Let's educate, convert people's hearts, and they'll eventually ask a question. Why are you doing what you're doing? Well, I'm doing it because I did a video on basil. Why you should make basil? And I went the whole thing of, well, they're poisoning us in the grocery stores. That's why you should probably create your own basil. You know you're not spraying your own basil. So just little things like that. I remember a guy asking, why do you go back down the center aisle when I went to, before I went to TLM exclusively? And said, well, this is why. And he goes, I'm never asking you again. Scared him straight.
Oh my gosh. I think also like when it comes down to it, it comes back to the laziness of like the whole bystander syndrome, where nobody wants to be the one to run for governor or to do that. They're like, oh, somebody else will do it, but I'm just going to tweet about my feelings about it. And, and it's like, okay, maybe you specifically are not called to do it, but maybe you know somebody who is. Maybe you could be on the board of trustees, or maybe you could be a part of the community in some way so you do know what's going on the inside, and you can actually start reforming your town or something in a more Catholic conservative way, because a lot of the times the people who have control are not conservative, because the conservatives don't want to step up and actually take control in their own community. They think, oh, I need to go straight to the top, I need to be president, or I need to do It's like, no, start in your own community first. And sometimes you have to be the one to step up, and you have to be the one to actually be that person. And if you're not called to do it, maybe, again, someone who is. And if not, at least start in your own home.
Yeah, 100%. Because that's the idea of excuses are lies. It's the Jacko line. Why don't you do this? Nah, I can't do that. Or, those guys will run news channels. They'll say that they've been doing it for years. Why don't you run for office? Because you know something. No, no, no. That's not for me. You talk about it all the time. Like people yell at me. Why don't you do it? Because you talk about that. Well, I'm moving. I keep moving. I just moved from one county to another county a couple months ago. I may in another 8 months do the same thing. It's not. I can't really run for I don't mind being in the same state. And so I know my wife's actually brought that up. Why don't you do that? When we get settled to do it, I go, it's in my mind. But yeah, if you order, it's like the order of the Cincinnati. It's, the idea when the guy came up, the Senate came after the farmer and told, we need you, here's the power, we need you to run it. And after he got done, he went back to the farm.
Yeah.
That was where Washington was part of that order of the Cincinnati at the time. And no, but today we got people. DJT just put out a video. I think I'm doing this. I got saved by the gunshot wound, but because God wants me to save the country, which by the way, the USA, for your speakers, I would say something crazy. The United States of America never was, nor is a country. Thank you. It's a federal republic. It's made up of 50 nation states. Nation is a country synonymous with state. That's why each state has the state of the state address. I can get on for that forever. But back to regular schedule programming. But and then he said, and maybe fix the world. Somebody should be really terrified. And I'm not saying, this is not a promotion for the other team. That's because that's another thing. If you're not for this, then you must be for this. False dichotomy. How about we just not have that? How about just, they'll go away. I'm happy with what's going on here. We can make it a little bit better. We don't, goes back to that. We can end every social problem. For people thought we needed an abortion. No, you don't. Because your solution is nationalizing the darn thing. That won't work. You can end it right now, your state, which a lot of guys did with the trigger laws. Right after Roe went down, trigger laws went in, done. Gay marriage, done at the state level. IVF, whatever, name it, send me something. Boy, guys in the bathrooms, whatever, done. But we don't have the testicle fortitude to do it. We don't want to because we want the march on DC because it's a cool field trip. Won't work, but it's fun. And we make money out of it. Even though Pro-Life Inc. gets millions of dollars in donations, we're getting creamed. Yeah. No one wants to go, you know what, let's get a Catholic in the state house, let's get a Catholic in the state and the gubernatorial seat. How about we make our state a Catholic state? Yeah. Gee, that's nuts. No, we can't do that. No. We need the one nation myth that the socialists created.
Yeah, and I think especially these days with, how it is, it's like when, as Catholics, we have kind of shrunk, back into the shadows where we no longer want to be a part of modern society because we're like, well, we'll just do what we need to do in our own little spot in the corner over here. Please don't bother us. But like, we're here. We used to be warriors. We used to protect countries from Islamic terrorists and wars and things. Like, we used to be crusaders and, the Inquisitions. We used to be so strong, and equipped for battle. And now it's like somebody sends us a small, like, hate message and we're like, oh no, I'll never make it this time. And it's like, no, like, when I get hate messages, I'm like, I hope he's okay, or I hope she's okay. Jeez, but I'm never like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe they think that of me. Like, I'm more like, you know what? No, take action. Prayer is action. Take up your rosary, pray for those people, but also don't be afraid to involve yourself in the community and to get out there and turn your phone off, get up off your keister, and actually involve yourself in the world around you. How do we expect to fix anything on social media when there's an entire world that actually needs our help in person?
I had a guy get mad because I told him that praying to do Passover. It's during the rumor, the TLM rumor.
Yeah.
And it was during, I mentioned, dude, you told me you read Garage. What did you say? It was during St. Peter and St. Paul. It mentions a small little house in Jerusalem was more powerful than the entire Roman army because it was praying all night, doing penance all night for St. Peter when he was in prison. And you think, well, like, just the small little house with how many people were in it for what, 18, 20, I have no idea how many people were in there, was stronger, more powerful than the entire Roman army. And then it goes back to, do we really believe what we say? It's, like mass. You hear the litany of charity that St. Paul will do in a couple of weeks. It's back to back weeks of that. Do we just like the listen, hearing the words being chanted to us in a different language, or because it's supposed to be something about we're supposed to take and practice and do and incorporate in our lives?
Right.
It's easy to it's easy to hear. It's hard to do. It just goes back to why people don't make it sometimes. Well, we want to do it, and you may want to do something. I want to lose 100 pounds. I remember hearing that one time, and I spit up my drink. I was at the gym. I need to lose 100 pounds. That's a goal, right off the bat. I mean, let's start with 10. But no, seriously, what is your goal? Where do you want to be? And do you have the drive? That's the same time as telling his sister when she said, wow, how do I be a saint? You got to will it. And so
Right.
you got to be able to want it. What do you want? You got to be hungry. It's all the cliches, eye of the tiger. Are you hungry for it? You like people that aren't, someone asked me, who can help me sell this? Get the people that are hungry, because they want to make something off it. They'll help you out just because they're hungry for it. If you're hungry for heaven, just like the Olympics, you watch them busting their butts for years to get to that 1 second, 1 minute for a 20-second race or 1 minute race or 4 minute race, and leave it all day. They'll fall down afterwards just to win the goal. Yeah. And St. Paul writes about that, and that's our idea. We get to heaven that way. Bust your keister here, so we get to Judgment Day, and you get that prize. Sounds great, but it's a lot of hard work and effort to get to it. It's discipline. Discipline equals freedom. And then the Jocko line again. I'm a big Jocko fan, you can tell. But yeah, it goes back to social media. You do social media, or do you read a book, or gabble in the drama, sexy stuff, or prayer?
Right.
Do this, or go till the garden and say some prayers while you're doing that. It's all discipline.
And I definitely think Father Ripperger, I believe, is the one who said that the best way to start disciplining yourself is by doing the Angelus at 6 a.m., noon, and then 6 p.m. every day. And that's like the perfect way to start, just basically just kind of starting your day off right. But then also it disciplines you because you have to get up at a certain hour and you have to be on time. And doesn't mean you can't mess up here or there, but for the most part, your intention is, oh, I'm going to get this. Eventually, this is going to just be like second nature to me. For me personally, that's what Max does. For me personally, it's like going for a run or going for a jog and trying to work towards a goal. Maybe that's a 5K. I have really bad knees. So for me, I can only do a 5K, maybe speed walking, something along those lines. But I always try to do 3 laps. And I'm like, unless I physically cannot do 3 laps and I'm just bored and I'm like, I don't want to do a third one, I force myself to. It's about discipline because I always want to make sure that I'm meeting the standard. Because if I start backsliding, then I'm going to be like, oh, that's fine. Like I backslid yesterday. I'll just do the same thing today. Like I'm resting. My body needs rest. It's like, no, it doesn't. If it genuinely needed rest, I would just take the entire day off. Like I wouldn't even do exercise. I would literally just spend the day in the garden or rest or whatever. But my thing is like you always want to meet your goals. And even if you fall a little below, it's like, okay, we'll still try to meet it. And discipline really just starts with us and that drive and making this kind of like recognizing we want something, and realizing it's going to take hard work to get there, but realizing we're going to be better for it. And we kind of just need a dopamine detox, So it's one of those things where I'm just like, yeah, you know what? Stop being lazy. Do something about it if you're going to complain about it so much. It's like those friends we always complain about. They're like, oh, this, and this. And I'm just like, well, then do this, and this. And they're like, no, that's actually, I don't actually want advice. I just want to complain. I'm like, then don't complain to me. Complain to somebody else because I don't want to hear it if you don't want to.
Alfonso brings that up about don't complain about the weather. If it's 150 degrees outside, go, God wants it 150. I want 150.
Yeah.
20 below. Yeah.
Oh, well.
It rains. It rains. Like I want it rain. I want it to rain. Sometimes I'll go, thank you, rain, for the rain. I don't have to water anything today. So, hey.
It's literally just being grateful and finding the positives in everything. Stop being so negative. I think negativity is so saturated in today's culture that that's just what people jump to. I was very blessed to be able to have a very optimistic and positive outlook on almost everything, which can get really annoying for Max sometimes. I know. He's just like, oh, this happened. And I'm like, well, so goes the world. And he's just like, oh, and I'm like, you'll be fine. It's all good.
He's Eeyore.
What?
So he's Eeyore.
Yeah, basically, you know, I'm poo. I'm little. Yeah, that's how it goes. I'm like,
Oh, you see a lot of secularists.
bother.
You see a lot of secularists having the mindset of that because, like, there's a couple Guardian Child I follow and talking about, like, this year was a bad year for tomatoes. And they're like, and they start out, this is depressing, this could really bog you down. But look, my berries are really kicked up. The cucumbers are really cut up. Look, here's the bad. What's the good? There's always that. Like you said, it's a mindset. There's always going to be a bad. There's always going to be a good. Look at it. Always looking on the bright side of life.
Ta-da.
It's easy, but then again, it doesn't sell. So you talk about how good your day is online, you're not going to get the clicks.
Or people are going to be like, well, I'm glad you had a good day because my dog died and a squirrel attacked me and I got fired. And I'm just like, I didn't ask. I'm sorry. Sorry.
I'm super. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that sucks for you. Jeez. I'm sorry. But it's like people also can't stand to see other people be positive. So it's like one of those things that you're going to have to just realize that people are going to try and bog you down too. And they're going to try and be like, oh, this person's positive. Well, they shouldn't be because I'm not. And it's just like, don't be that type of person, first of all. But also it's like, if you do see those types of people, pray for them. Like, don't even try to respond, just pray for them, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the main thing. We're supposed to pray for each other. And that's a charitable act. And that's what Father Mateo talks about, the prayer. The price has got to be paid. So, I mean, you can punch him in the face, but it does nothing good for you. I mean, you can punch in the face and then say, like you certainly have another that told turn the other cheek thing. There's a great line from Francis de Sales in the book, Gentleman Saying, because French culture had a hat on. You're supposed to have a hat. So the guy takes his hat, disrespecting him, gets in his grill, and goes, your religion tells you to turn the other cheek. And he goes, Francis tells him, I know what my religion says. I just don't know if I'm going to practice that part right now. He got his hat back.
That's fair, honestly. Sometimes you got to have a little tongue-in-cheek with people, honestly. Otherwise, they do genuinely walk all over you. But yeah, no, but this has been a great discussion, Steve. Thank you so much for coming on and just talking about all this stuff and kind of just shining some light on a very negative world and hopefully offering some hope to people.
Where's that line? Embrace the suck. It's bad out there. It's not. Don't be black, Bill, because we're Catholic. We hope.
Yep.
Our land, our home is not here. So make some good out of it. Do some things, and remember, heaven is the goal, right? The assumption that we're supposed to be up there.
Absolutely, and 100%. We are the Easter people. We are supposed to be filled with hope and joy, no matter what the circumstances are, because we have Christ, and that is truly what kind of changes everything for us as opposed to
the altarpiece right there. They're getting gutted, gutted, and on top it says walk it joyfully.
Yes, walk joyfully. That's beautiful. And well, we'll definitely have to have you back on sometime, Steve. Where can my listeners find you before we go?
Well, unless you've been under a rock, censusfidelium.com. It's on YouTube. There's Census Fidelium Press now, since I had enough time to start press, because I just started an app, so Census Fidelium app on Android and Apple is available. Started a kids channel, Census Fidelium Children. I got to work on that. I got episode 1 up. Census Fidelium Gardening, it's on there too. Did I leave anything? Probably not. I think that's
something. I can put it in the description later. Send me all the links. No, it's awesome. But yes, thank you so much again, Steve. Everyone go check out Steve's stuff. And well, hopefully we can have you back, Steve.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. With all that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope you learned something, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye. Do you have questions or comments about today's episode? Email me at thereligioushippie@gmail.com or leave a voice message at anchor.fm/thereligioushippie. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Please be sure to rate and review this episode. This podcast is produced by Amber Rose and distributed by Metacortext Publishing. This podcast is copyright by The Religious Hippie, NFP. Any previously trademarked or copyright content is used by permission. Information and opinions in this podcast should not be construed as medical advice. Please be sure to visit the official website for The Religious Hippie at thereligioushippie.com or find me on social media for other unique content. Thank you.